Oh, Kathy Griffin, you spineless, talentless, idiotic fool. You know, I was originally going to leave this alone, but it has just become too rich a piece of Schadenfreude to pass up. Minions, if you are somehow unaware, D-list comedian Kathy Griffin did a very tasteless photo shoot where she stared very intently at the camera and held up a bloody mock-up of the severed head of Donald Trump. Here's one of the photos. Yes, look upon it, my minions, and despair. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I have no real issue with the photo shoot itself. Was it in poor taste? Probably, but free speech means you get to have poor taste and not be censored by the government for it. Art is art, and often it is designed to make a statement and make people uncomfortable, which I think this did very well. I may not agree with her statement, but it is her right to make whatever statement she wishes. Of course, there was a huge backlash against her for it, but that should have been expected given she was holding the decapitated head of her nation's elected leader. Then Miss Griffin did the absolute worst thing she could have done. She apologized. Well, when there's blood in the water, sharks are going to have a frenzy. By apologizing and admitting she did something wrong, she demonstrated that she was spineless and lacked conviction, and the public and media have absolutely destroyed her for it. She has had every engagement she was scheduled for canceled and fired from her normal spot on CNN. Yes, Communist News Network fired her. That is how bad the backlash has been. Her best course of action would have been to take a stand and say, art is art, deal with it. I made a political statement, and the opinion of the rest of you be damned. People would, if nothing else, have respected her conviction and willingness to take a risk. But no, she caved within hours, apologized, and has been stripped to the bone. But the saga is not over. Instead of doing the smart thing and just quietly slinking away into obscurity for a few years and letting her reputation heal, she went on the offensive and had a press conference where she blamed Trump and family for bullying her. The whole thing is just one long cringe fest, so let's watch a few bits of it. A side note, I have edited this so it's only a few clips. The link to the full interview is below if you want the whole context, or need to give your cringe muscles a workout.
I'm not afraid of Donald Trump. He's a bully. I've dealt with older white guys trying to keep me down my whole life, my whole career.
Not afraid? Then why have this press conference?
And what's happening to me has never happened, ever, in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of the United States and his grown children and the First Lady are personally, I feel, trying to ruin my life forever. Forever.
No, they are not trying to ruin your life. You did that yourself. Welcome to the consequences of your own actions, Miss Griffin.
I am teasing the president because this is America, and you shouldn't have to die for it. The death threats that I'm getting are constant, and they are detailed, and they are serious, and they are specific.
Are any of those death threats coming from President Trump or his family? Perhaps they are from people who are rather upset you took a photo holding Trump's severed head. You know, some people take that as a threat.
I don't think I will have a career after this. I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke me. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. This is not right. And I apologized because that was the right thing to do and I meant it. And then I saw the tide turning and I saw what they were doing and I went, oh, okay, they're trying to spin this and they're making it about Barron, and obviously that was never my intent. I would never want to hurt anyone, much less a child, but I started to see what was really happening, and then it was a mob mentality pile-on.
He broke me. Suffering. Also, never want to hurt a child? Too bad for you that internet never forgets. My edge is that I'll go direct for Barron. That is a direct quote. How's that shoe leather taste? I hear it goes well with some crow and humble pie.
Look,
The best thing about New Year's Eve.
There's a bunch of old white guys trying to silence me, and I'm just here to say that's wrong. You don't have to like me, but you shouldn't silence a comic.
The only people trying to silence you are your fans and employers, and that is due to the backlash you created when you had your little photo shoot. That's right, minions. She somehow thinks she is the victim and is blaming Trump for being a bully, after appearing in a photo shoot holding his bloody severed head. I cannot grasp the level of mental gymnastics needed to make this make cognitive sense. This is insanity. Add on to that is the whole absurd First Amendment claim. I don't know if she and her team of crackpot lawyers understand how this works, but the Bill of Rights to the United States Constitution only applies to actions by the U.S. federal and state governments. The fact that every gig she had has been canceled and she was fired by CNN is not a First Amendment issue. Private venues and broadcasting stations are free to hire and fire whomever they so please, and when you become an instant liability of this size, well, they are going to drop you before you become the albatross around their necks. It would seem that Miss Griffin is entirely unfamiliar with the idea that actions have consequences, and that we all make decisions in this world. She took an action, and then made bad decision after bad decision, and now finds herself in a quagmire of her own making. Kathy, if you want to know who did this to you, look in a fucking mirror. Until next time, my minions, enjoy this piece of Schadenfreude, and via cum diabolus amici me.